Nigeria exits from recession with cautious optimism. The present administration welcomes the news, saying that it will continue to drive the nation's economic growth by vigorously implementing the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, the ERGP, launched by the president in April. The presidency believes that government's overall economic plan and direction has resulted in sustained restoration of oil production levels, occasioned by the enhanced security and stability in the Niger Delta, sustained growth in agriculture, mining, and the first growth recorded in the industry as a whole in the last 9 quarters since Q4 2014. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media network, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channels, where you can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com, and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms and social media covered. Health unions, workers, including the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, NUAP, and the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHISU, are threatening to embark on a nationwide strike on September 11. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, which has been met with the deadlock reconciliation meetings between the doctors and the federal government, is already in a full-scale strike. Patients are being sent home, according to reports. What's the way forward? Will the government reach a truce with NARD before sister unions join in the call to improve wages and agreements earlier reached? Yet another victim of a Catholic church barely 2 weeks after Syracuse, Onunkwo, was kidnapped and killed in Olu town in Imo State. Suspected assassins, disguised as parishioners, on Friday shot the parish priest, Reverend Father Daniel Nwankwo, at St. Thomas Catholic Church, Onikekere Cement Bus Stop in Lagos, in the Ikeja area. A statement released by the Lagos State Police authorities say that the hoodlums attended the early morning mass in the church that was conducted by the Reverend Father himself. The Lagos State Police Commissioner of Police, Imohime Edgar, will talk to us much later on the show about this. It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation. Right behind me, you can see some feeds coming through all in one place simultaneously on all our platforms. We're getting them to you now. You can be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. The National Association of Resident Doctors started an indefinite strike over welfare concerns. They had been in meetings with the Minister of Labour in what seemed a situation resolved. A U-turn by the resident doctors proved otherwise, though. To this time, the strike persists, with sister unions threatening to also go on strike on September 11. That's the deadline they gave. Let's make sense out of this developing stories in the country at this time. Mr. Gbenga Komolafe is a Labour leader. He joins me in the studio for a broader view of NARD strike and indeed other strikes in the country. Thank you so much indeed for coming on State of the Nation. At some point, we'll also be having the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Garba Shehu, to talk to us via Skype as soon as we get to that point. But looking very closely at the strikes at this point, where many had expected that a meeting that lasted into hours with the government, especially with the Labour Minister, with assurances that NARD will meet at some kind of agreement, but a U-turn all of a sudden came through, and up till this time, we're neither here nor there. What do you think is going on?
Yeah, I think it's not really a surprise that we're having these litany of strikes all over. I'm also aware that the United Labour Congress gave notice of a strike, about 2 weeks ago. But specifically about the health sector and the education sector, it shouldn't come as a surprise when you, in view of the fact that Nigerian government has consistently voted a very minute percentage of the budget for health and education. For education, it has been, I don't know the exact figures and percentages.
It's about 6%. 6% of the budget.
Thank you. But I know it's single digits. I think health is even much more worse, you know. Whereas most international development agencies, in this case the WHO, UNESCO, will recommend, you know, double-digit percentage votes for these critical social services.
At least 20% for the United
For
Nations.
education, for 26% specifically. For health, 15, 17%. And when you look at the statistics, even in sister African countries that have lower GDPs, at lower levels of development and all of that, you discover that these people, I mean, these governments in these other countries have shown much greater commitment to the social sector, health, care services, education. So I think it's like the chicken coming onto roost, so it's bound to happen somewhere along the line. The system has virtually collapsed, you know. Most government functionaries don't even bother about seeking for any kind of treatment locally. They have to be flown abroad, and that includes our president. Their children have to be educated abroad. Even our private university is not good enough for them.
So is this striking manifestation of all those it's a culmination of all these concerns?
Critical sectors have been grossly underfunded over the years. And so what we are having, I just, you know.
So even with a negotiation, if it comes through and then we have the resident doctors back, that doesn't really solve the problem, does it?
Exactly, that's the point I'm trying to make, that there will be difficulties, even in negotiations right now, because what we have in the budget, I'm sure cannot, I don't know the details, but I'm sure what we have in the budget as it is cannot in any way resolve most of the issues being raised by the doctors. And so, except perhaps there is environment in the budget, you know, and so on, government might be under significant technical pressures, you know, in meeting with some of the cogent demands. And when you look at the demands, it's not just about salary, it's about conditions of work. And we all know how our hospitals are, you know. The staff are overworked, the basic equipment are not there, patients are made to become.
But the point